This week on Sailing Sweet Ruka, we call in reinforcements to save a pristine marine environment from impending disaster. As yachts begin to drag in the anchorage, mooring lines give way to the strong winds. Watch as this peaceful and beautiful anchorage in French Polynesia quickly turns into Rescue Bay.
Okay, ready, Kate?
Docking is always interesting when you are dealing with a slip you're not used to. Here in Marina Taina, we are stern tied to the dock with underwater moorings attached at the bow, and we're getting ready to leave. After the stern was released, the underwater moorings were untied from the bow, and we initiated our turn at a low speed, careful not to hit the boats next to us or across from us. I used the starboard rope to manually pull the bow to the right, as Sweet Ruka lacks a bow thruster. Luckily, we chose a day with essentially no wind and hardly any current to worry about, which made maneuvering out of the tight slip a bit easier.
Okay, on all the lines. Maru. Okay, all good left. Okay, no boats. Alright, if you're happy, you can come back and swap those fenders up. And then let's work on the dinghy.
Bye, Tahiti! You're beautiful! As we left the inner channel, which is protected by the outer reef of Tahiti, we noticed so many people enjoying the crystal clear waters and beautiful sunshine. We could probably see 50 feet down to the bottom. Surfers swam far out to this amazing reef break, and it was the perfect farewell after our time surfing in Tahiti. This is certainly a special place. Our next stop was the island of Mo'orea, just a short 12 miles away to the northwest, with two large bays that were formed from volcanoes that offer great protection and good holding for yachts. We were expecting large winds and bad weather, so it seemed like a good place to hide out for a while.
Yeah, come on over. Oh yeah! Yeah, man! Yeah! Woo!
Mo'orea means yellow lizard in Tahitian, and became an inspiration for Tahitian villages in Herman Melville's book Omu. The island is also known for the famous Captain Cook, who ordered his men to, quote, lay waste to the island of Mo'orea after he discovered 2 of his goats were stolen. Ultimately, this was one of the instances Cook's men had felt he had lost his mind and was no longer the man they knew from when they first sailed. The eastern of the 2 bays of Mo'orea bears his name to this day, but the locals still refer to it as Pow Pow Bay. We sailed past it for the good mud holding at the base of Opunohu Bay. The views were spectacular and ones we will never forget. Cannot imagine what others have thought throughout history arriving by boat to this magnificent sight. We anchored in about 80 feet of water, so that called for the long snubber as rowed shifts from chain to rope. We backed down on the snubber and the anchor hooked right away. The beautiful sunny bay didn't last long as a strong system moved through, bringing with it wind and rain for multiple days straight. What do you think, Roxy, getting out of the rain? Huh, buddy? Yeah? Well, we are in Mo'orea and we have been camping out here because of the enormous swell outside. It is a little bit rocky and rolling in here, but not bad. But yeah, we've got some big north winds and we have a lot of rain and squalls rolling through with a lot of wind in those squalls. But we've got solid holding with our Rockna anchor all the way deep down. We haven't moved a bit. Yeah, we are just gonna wait out the bad weather and then we will be on our way. Boats were beginning to drag through the anchorage as we experienced a narrow miss by a monohull at 6 a.m. We just so happened to hear a strange noise outside, and with all the crew still asleep down below, Curtis quickly shouted to wake them up before they smashed into the gunboat catamaran anchored just behind. The excitement didn't stop there, as the winds began to gust into the 40-knot range, wicking up waves within the bay. A large yacht chafed through its mooring lines and began drifting quickly toward the black sand beach.
It's on the western side of the bay, towards the bottom of the bay. If you come into the bay with a strong powerboat, you'll see him on your right-hand side, white powerboat, 60 foot, going very close to the shore now.
Our little dinghy certainly wouldn't be able to tow the 60-foot powerboat, so Curtis called in reinforcements by hailing our friend Yogi from the sailing vessel Twice, whom used to captain superyachts, to see if he could get in contact with the large yachts in the anchorage and ask if they would be able to help. When a big boat like this becomes lodged on the shore, it is not only a hazard to navigation, but can also cause entrapment of wildlife, oil pollution, and other marine waste. It was important to get the boat before the situation became worse. So, with the help of our friends from the sailing vessel Twice on the radio, we were able to get in contact with the large super yacht in the bay called Andromeda. As we sailed by it, we noticed a rather large tender hoisted alongside the yacht, perhaps they would be able to help prevent the situation from turning worse.
Twice, Andromeda.
Come in, twice listening.
You are the sailboat in Opunohu Bay.
That is correct. We are at the very bottom of the bay and we see this 60-foot powerboat who has broken the mooring or dragged the anchor drifting past us. He's going to hit the shore any second now. So we were thinking if you had a strong boat, you could maybe hook him up and pull him away before it gets too bad. Over.
Andromeda is a 107-meter or 350-foot explorer yacht that has the ability to carry a small yacht on its foredeck. The list of toys doesn't stop there, as the vessel can also carry 6 motorbikes, 2 ATVs, a helicopter, an amphibious rib, and much more. The yacht also dons a wellness center and spa, cinema, and party-like saloon. But perhaps what sets it apart is the level of support vehicles that allow the people aboard to do almost any activity they want wherever the boat arrives. These well-stocked ships are not only for play, but the resources on board can also be put to good use for safety. Through communication via VHF radio, the Andromeda launched their approximately 40-foot tender to chase down the derelict boat floating down Opunohu Bay. The tender made it just as the empty yacht touched into the sand. They attached a tow strap to the stern to try and pull it in reverse away from the sandbank. A few local boats had heard the talk on the radio and decided to come by and try and give a hand, giving a bit more engine power to pull this big body off the bottom. However, the waves had dug it in too far and the boat sits stuck in the mud.
So it looks like the yacht over here, they're going to try and pull it off. They caught it just before it went on the ground, so it's probably a good thing that everybody called in and this big super yacht, this big 251-foot super yacht dropped in its huge tender here and is pulling it out, because I don't think any of the local boats or any of the cruisers could have done anything about this. So I think they're really saving, what could be a really environmental disaster here on this, pristine area here of Mo'orea. So let's watch. They've got 3 boats hooked up to it now. They're pulling on it pretty hard, and they think they're going to be able to get it free, I think. So we'll stay tuned and just keep an eye out here.
Curtis and I hopped into the dinghy to assist if possible. There isn't much we can do power-wise when it comes to this mission, but what we lack in strength we make up for in maneuverability. We were able to transport people to and from the boat to tie lines and make adjustments without the other boats having to rearrange themselves and prevent the metal hulls from constantly ramming into the yacht. After a few attempts to pull the boat back, a new strategy was formed. The flat vertical surface of the stern was only acting as a brake as the boats tried to pull it off. So a tow line was attached to the bow to pivot the boat back into the wind and use the triangular shape of the bottom to gently slide out of the thick mud-like sand. But the work wasn't done there. A bit of motor power and the ribs slowly moved the boat forward into the waves and wind up the bay. The local powerboats found a mooring ball that could support the yacht and worked on getting the mooring ready for a new line. Getting the rope from the tall deck down to the water turned out to be a bit tricky as the tender attempted to hold the yacht in place. We helped get the ropes untangled and eventually one rope was attached so that the pressure could be relieved from Andromeda's tender. The local boats could then take their time to finish securing the 60-foot vessel. Not only are we concerned about bad weather while we are sailing offshore, but things can take a turn very quickly, whether we are at the dock or on anchor. You never really stop being on watch as you consider all possible scenarios and how to keep yourselves and the boat safe. Whether a small sailing vessel or large superyacht, we are all mariners, and when the time calls for it, we always jump in to help any way we can. Thanks to the efforts of everyone involved, the beautiful island of Mo'orea will continue to provide a gorgeous, safe haven for seafarers of all types. While there was good mud holding for Sweet Ruka, it's important to remain vigilant of your surroundings, as dangers can be just around the corner. Or sometimes it's just bad luck, but the community of sailing is a group of neighbors around the world that are always willing to offer a helping hand. Give us a helping hand by hitting that like button and sharing our content. It's the easiest way to support our goal, as our journey is heavily reliant by your viewership. And don't forget to click subscribe and come along for the ride. See you next time!